All right, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys. The vibes have been very good in Dallas. Of course, the addition of Schottenheimer drew a lot of negativity at the beginning of the offseason. But as time went on and as he's filled out his coaching staff and generally across the board, the moves the Dallas Cowboys have made all the way through the draft are drawing a lot of positive reviews when you just look at them. Good, solid, fundamental moves. And that has continued as we work our way through OTAs and minicamp. And Schottenheimer has made another move. I think that's further proof that the Cowboys did a great job in terms of selecting him to be their head coach. In fact, when you compare their situation with a lot of other teams in the NFL, when you break it down based on recent news, the Cowboys are looking really, really good. We'll get into that reporting in just 1 second. But first, I'm Nick. That is Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Coach Schottenheimer, when he came into the fold as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, like I said in the opening, drew a lot of criticism, and a lot of people wondered what the heck Jerry Jones was doing. But it's very clear that this strategy has worked out, at least up to this point. I know we haven't actually played real football yet, but looking at what we've seen so far, a lot of great reviews from Coach Schottenheimer and his entire staff. And that has continued when you look at the Micah Parsons situations. He's in line for a massive deal. Everything going on with that. Let's get into the report involving Schottenheimer and Parsons, and then we'll compare that to what's going on with some other teams. Let's pull up this report first. This is courtesy of NBC Sports. But Parsons and new head coach Brian Schottenheimer are on the same page. Parsons posted a TikTok video of a conversation with Schottenheimer. I know this is weird for everybody, but look, you're handling everything the right way, bro, Schottenheimer told Parsons. This thing is going to get worked out. Parsons was in and out of the voluntary offseason program, but did no team drills and was absent during the 2 weeks of voluntary organized team activities. He tweeted last week that he would attend the minicamp. I will be there, he wrote. I haven't missed a camp in 4 years. Even though the contract is not done, I have teammates in a playbook. I'm preparing as if I will be on the field the first week of camp. So the key takeaway here is Schottenheimer reaching out to Parsons saying, it will work out, bro. You're doing everything right. Micah, just hang in there. Just hang in there, man. It's all about focusing on getting better, working together as a team. Let's go into our next slide of reports here and just compare what's going on with the latest evidence with the Cowboys and Parsons with a lot of other teams in the National Football League. So we got 4 tweets up here on the screen. So the first one here is courtesy of Jonathan Jones, I believe at CBS Sports. He says, Micah Parsons is at the start of day as the Cowboys begin mandatory minicamp, sources says. So he does show up, right? He's looking for a big deal. He's looking for a big extension. He shows up. Let's compare that to similar situations based on other tweets. How about this next one on the screen? Ian Rappaport. The Steelers' TJ Watt seeking a new deal is not in attendance at mandatory minicamp. Okay, Parsons is there. TJ Watt isn't. Okay, let's keep going. Kelsey Conway with the Cincinnati Bengals. Continuing on with Bengals contract news this morning ahead of day 1 of mandatory minicamp. The Bengals didn't get their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, under contract. Therefore, the rookie won't practice. Trey Hendrickson, obviously in a contract dispute as well, and Shamar Stewart both not practicing. So, again, Bengals, they don't get it done. They've got people not practicing. And finally, you've got the Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin, who is seeking a new deal, very similar to Parsons and Watt. He is not attending minicamp, sources say. What is this telling you guys? It's telling you that Schottenheimer is taking an approach different than what the Steelers are doing, what Washington is doing, what Cincinnati is doing. This is the new era of the Dallas Cowboys. You still have the head man at the top, so you're going to get some of this funky stuff. You're going to get these weird negotiations, these things that last too long. As much as we all want that to change, that ain't happened. What is changing is you got a head man leading the football player side in terms of the coaches, the team, all of that from an on-the-field perspective. Coach Schottenheimer, who's taking a direct approach with these players. He's not, as we've seen from Mike McCarthy and certainly from Wade Phillips and certainly from Jason Garrett, kind of leaving, hey, that's Jerry's stuff. The negotiations, the contracts, we're going to leave all that to Jerry and Steven, right? I'm just focused on the Joes on the field. Schottenheimer, he's reaching out to Parsons saying, you're doing everything great. We love you. It's going to work out. We're going to give you a big deal. It's going to happen. Getting him in the right headspace, getting everyone on board. There's no locker room rift. There's no drama when it comes to the players and coaches. That's what we're seeing with the Dallas Cowboys, a team that's addicted to drama. They get paid for drama, for God's sakes. But when you look at Dallas, none of it. Parsons there, no problem. A lot of drama with the Steelers, right? There should be a great team. They got Aaron Rodgers, right? They got a really talented squad, made the playoffs last year. Nothing but drama. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Higgins, went to a Super Bowl a few years ago. Should be all good vibes. Nothing but drama. Washington Commanders, they're finally not terrible. Oh, my goodness. Dan Quinn, everyone, this is a changed franchise. Nothing but drama. This is what we've seen from Coach Schottenheimer, and this is why he made, I think, that his hiring was the smartest move, now that we can look at it, any team made. Certainly the Cowboys made this entire offseason. The Cowboys' biggest and a lot of other teams' biggest problem is drama. It's distractions. Schottenheimer has been the antidote to all that. We've seen that with the Micah Parsons situation. We've seen that with multiple other deals. This was undeniably a great hire by Dallas, bringing in Schottenheimer, and he has rewarded that faith by making smart moves and great overtures like he did with Micah Parsons, removing the drama that's hitting the Steelers, Washington, and Cincinnati incredibly hard right now. This is a new Cowboys team. We've said this entire offseason, but we're just seeing further and further proof that a new era in Dallas is certainly here, and we should see much more positive results on Sundays because of it. All right, Miles, I know you've got a few thoughts on this, but first, Cowboys fans, in the comment section below, obviously we're talking Micah Parsons, a great defensive end / edge rusher, phenomenal football player, and I've got a question for you guys. Who is your favorite Cowboys defensive end / edge rusher in team history? And my God, there are a lot of them. I mean, you can go back to like the 1960s if you really want to go that far. You can go to the 70s. There's a guy who was maybe a little too tall that may be on the top of your list. Maybe you're a late 80s, early 90s guy, and you got a Jeff Coder, or maybe you're a Greg Ellis guy. I think he was an underrated player. And of course, the great outside linebacker out of Troy comes to mind for a lot of people as well. So give us your favorite defensive end / edge rusher in team history. Put them in the comment section below. But Mize, that is enough from me. Over to you now. What are your thoughts on this latest news out of Dallas?
Yeah, I think we talk about this all the time, and it's probably beating a dead horse at this point. But great hire, great Cowboys team, new culture, just different team. It feels very, very different. And I want to just take a step back and just realize the Cowboys, when they went into this coaching search, there was a lot of options. There's a lot of names throwing around, and a lot of these coaches seemed good at the time. So Pete Carroll was an option that was thrown out there. Is a guy who seemingly is doing pretty good with the Raiders so far. I think that's more to do with their front office moves that they've got going on. But so far, that was a good hire. Deion Sanders was probably an unrealistic name that was thrown around as well. We saw all kinds of names and, big personalities thrown around in the coaching sphere when it came to who the Cowboys were going to hire for their next head coach. But through all of that, for Schottenheimer to shine through and them end up selecting him, and just, it probably doesn't feel like it to him, but it would feel like with all of those big name coaches, not saying that Schottenheimer wasn't, good in his own right, but these guys were bigger names, bigger star power, bigger personalities than Schottenheimer. For the pressure to be on him to be like, look, we passed over all these guys. We decided to go with Schottenheimer. There's going to be a lot of pressure from, the fan base early on. For him to take it in stride and really do so well throughout this entire offseason already, it's been very, very impressive to me. I like how he's handled everything. I think this is the latest. I feel like every struggle, every problem, or every, potential problem that they have had going forward, he's taken it really and done a fantastic job. I don't think he could do it any better. The way he handles the players, the way he, talks with Parsons, the way he's, handled all of this, nothing has really been a debacle this offseason. There really hasn't been the drama, like you said. So I think Schottenheimer proving that he was the right decision here for the Cowboys, just seeing how this has been handled, seeing what's going on. The Cowboys, they seem like they're in a really good place, and we keep talking about it. There's only so much you can do when you say, new team, new feel, new all of this. All you can do is just add up every little piece as it comes. And this is just another piece in that puzzle showing that this is the real deal. Something has changed in Dallas. It's changed for the better, and Schottenheimer seems to be a big part of it.